there has been a lot of pessimism going on around Ansu Fati's name, and mainly because we have heard that Ansu Fati could be leaving. Now look, there is a big reason on why within these past 2 weeks there has been no signs of Barcelona potentially signing a brand new attacking player. And part of the reason on why is because the operation of Ansu Fati leaving this club has stalled, and Ansu Fati does not want to leave. And so yes, it's true, Ansu Fati is one of the factors on why Barcelona have not progressed on signing a brand new attacker. They really do depend on Ansu Fati's exit. Now with the operation of Cancelo, that's a whole different thing. I think that what Barcelona is trying to do is say, okay, if we let go of one attacker, let's introduce another one in, and it would need to be a different profile. And there's also been a debate within the club. Javi Miguel has reported that everything indicates that either Ferran Torres or Ansu Fati will leave FC Barcelona this month, but it does seem like everything is pointing towards Ansu Fati being the chosen one to leave the club over Ferran Torres. And I think that from Barcelona's perspective, it looks better on the financial accounts if Ansu does leave, because remember, Ansu Fati is free. We never paid a dime for this player, and the fact that he can be sold for like 60 to 70 million euros, it's pure profit. And then if you actually compare that to the operation of Ferran Torres, where we bought him for 60 million euros and to sell him for potentially 35 to 40 million euros, that would be considered as a loss within the accounts of this club. And that is the reason on why they're so inclined on Ansu Fati leaving the club over Ferran Torres. So I can understand why. I understand the decisions. It does make complete sense. But with Ansu Fati being considered as a free player, that is actually the exact same reason on why it bothers me so much, is because, hear me out, Dembele, right? We have given him all of the patience in the world. After even 6 seasons, we were willing to give him another season to showcase his talents and bring results to Barcelona. We have given him all of the patience. Even after Barcelona paid 111 million euros for the player, we gave him so much time. And with Ansu Fati being free, not even paying 1 million euros for the player, we cannot give the player time. And that is again the reason why it bothers me so much, and for many people, is because we're giving Ansu no chance to succeed at the club, and he's 20 years old. But I understand both arguments. I understand why it would make sense to let go of Ansu because of the accounts, but again, letting go of someone so young and giving him no time to showcase his talents under Xavi's system, it's something that I feel like many of us are going to regret in a couple of years. And I strongly believe that this season is going to be a defining one for Ansu, and because of 2 reasons. It is because Xavi is heading towards his second full season, and point number 2, he has more competition this time, with Abde trying to get a starting spot on the left wing position, with Rafinha also being able to play on the left wing position. Gavi has also been shown that he can play on the left wing but provide something different. So there is a lot of competition, and this is going to be a situation where you are going to be required to showcase your confidence on why you should be starting and showcase your character. And I want to see Ansu Fati being placed in a situation like this at the club, because he has never been this tested before. And I feel like this player, he can deliver, he can prosper from this situation and grow and become even better. This is why I believe that this season is going to be so important for Ansu if he does continue. So Mundo Deportivo did state this: Ansu Fati and his family met yesterday and decided that Fati would attempt to gain Xavi's confidence to have more minutes of play and a spot in the starting 11. The situation could change in January. So these next 6 months are going to be so important, my friends, so important. And throughout these next 4 to 5, 6 months, we are going to be facing Sevilla on October 1st, Real Madrid on October 29th, and Atletico Madrid on December 3rd. These 3 games specifically are going to be so important, and I expect Ansu Fati to be fully locked in by this time. And this is where we expect Ansu to score. We're going to be struggling against Sevilla. We're going to be struggling against Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid, and we're going to need goal scorers. And Ansu Fati has to be one of those players, because like the way that we have been seeing Lewandowski as of late, he has not been at his very best. He just looks so stiff. He looks lost. He does not look like he's even trying. I want Xavi to have more confidence on saying that Lewandowski should be benched and just switch him out for Ferran Torres or something like that, right? I know I'm getting off topic, but because we are missing goal scorers right now, Ansu Fati has to step up, and we're gonna need those goals against these teams. And let's just say that all of our attackers are on their A game, right? Everybody's in their prime. Everybody's well. Who do I believe are the best goal scorers right now? And first, I would say Lewandowski, but right underneath Lewandowski, it would be Ansu, because Ansu has instinct for goal, something that you cannot get taught by from a coach. It does not exist. You either carry it through talent or you don't. Ansu has that. Now you may say, what about Lamine Yamal, Kevin? You forgot about Lamine Yamal. Well, Lamine Yamal, right, is a great goal scorer, but he is much better at picking out through passes or key passes and taking on multiple players. That is what Lamine Yamal is a master of, and I think he's going to continue to get better at that skill set the more he does stay at the first team. With Ansu Fati, he does not have that skill set. set. He's okay at it, but Lamine Yamal is just much more superior. Ansu Fati is someone who will finish the play and score the goal. So you can see that these two players, Lamine Yamal and Ansu, they both carry different skill sets, but they're very good at that if they're on top of their game. Lamine Yamal is on top of his game, Ansu is not. And so Ansu is going to have to separate himself from this conversation by scoring a lot of goals. That is what he's meant to do, and the reason why we loved him in the first place. And now that I think about it, it's so crazy to like even think about what happened between Barcelona and Getafe. You do know, right, that Abde was the first priority to reinforce the left wing position because things were just not working out in the first 45 minutes. And then the second player that came in was Lamine Yamal to bring a different solution. And then Ansu Fati came. And so Ansu Fati is in third place when it comes to the pecking order. Abde is first, Lamine Yamal is second, and then we have Ansu Fati in third place as the third choice. And Lamine Yamal is only 16 years old. As a matter of fact, Santi Jimenez has also stated that Xavi prefers starting Lamine Yamal over Ansu Fati or Ferran Torres against Cadiz, and we'll see what happens on Sunday because I believe they do play on Sunday. We'll see who starts in that front three because Rafinha is not going to be there. Dembele is gone, so who's going to be on the right side? Could it be Lamine Yamal? Could it be Abde on the right side and then having Ansu Fati on the left? But there has been a lot of talks of Lamine Yamal starting on the right side with Gavi going on the false left wing position. Now I know that this is starting to seem like a Lamine Yamal type of video, but more of the story, compete, right? Compete and give it your all because the competition is getting stronger and stronger at Barcelona, and Ansu Fati needs to show that he cannot be movable. And I think that with Cancelo potentially coming to this club within these next 4 to 5 days, it's only going to increase Ansu Fati's chances of starting on the left wing because I have explained that if Cancelo becomes a fourth midfielder, like how we talked about in that previous video, if he inverts himself and joins Frenkie de Jong and forms the double pivot, it does allow to have true wingers up top because we're no longer going to need a false left winger up top when we have Cancelo being the fourth midfielder. We also do have another report stating that Ansu Fati has been told by Xavi that there are other forwards ahead of him. For the moment, he wants to stay and fight for his place, but he also respects the opinion of his entourage, which is his family and his agent. He is open to a good sporting project. So the challenge is there and it's very clear. But now it's going to be up to Ansu on how he's going to be reacting. And in terms of like the offers that Barcelona has been receiving for the player, there's a reason on why Barcelona is also so reliant on Ansu Fati's exit. It does say here, according to multiple journalists, they have stated that Ansu Fati has attracted huge suitors from the Premier League. There's also teams from the Bundesliga and La Liga, but the Premier League continues to be the biggest option for Ansu because of how much they're willing to bid for the player. Atletico Madrid are also in the race and in the conversation, but they're not willing to spend so much on Ansu. And you better bet, right? Like, I know the Premier League has a lot of power, but you better bet, right? How much you want to bet? Like, we will hear this within the next 6 to 7 days, but it's probably going to have to be Arsenal and Manchester United that are willing to bid high for Ansu Fati. I can just really see it because these two clubs have great sporting projects. We look at how Arsenal has Martinelli. He's going to need competition. Ansu Fati can go into that slot. You look at Manchester United. They have Garancho. Sometimes he doesn't deliver. Sometimes he does. But he's going to need competition, and Ten Hag knows that. He's going to need someone like Ansu, a goal scorer on the left side, to complete the 4-2-3-1 system that he does have. But that's going to be my bet. It is going to be Arsenal and Manchester United. I don't think that it's going to be Manchester City because they do have Foden and they have other great players like Palmer who can play on both wings. They even have Grealish who also plays on the left wing. There's no spot for Ansu Fati at Man City. But whether Ansu Fati leaves or not, whether, let's just say for example, Barcelona find a solution towards keeping Ansu and also bringing in a brand new attacker, here are going to be the options now, knowing that Neymar is no longer going to be coming to Barcelona, right? He will be going to Al Hilal. But there is a debate in the club, and there is a debate about whether they should bring in Joao Felix or Lo Celso. It has been said that Xavi does understand the reason why they should be signing Joao Felix, but he has not given the approval to his name yet. It also does say here that Barcelona are very aware of Lo Celso's price tag and demands if they wish to sign the Argentine. Tottenham's interest in signing Lenglet could also help this operation. But in the end, Lo Celso does not generate enough consensus within the club. So many of you guys have been asking, now with a brand new sporting director like Deco, are the plans going to change, right? Like, could we hear that Barcelona are going to be scrapping Joao Felix and Lo Celso and they're going to be looking at some other attacker like Leao or something, right? Something just drastically different because we do have another sporting director. And Deco has already explained to the media that the plans are going to be staying the same. It's going to continue to be either Lo Celso or Joao Felix. But to be honest, if Barcelona end up going for Lo Celso, I would not mind that signing. I think that he can be a serious option, especially if you include Lenglet the other way, who I think is worth around 10 to 12 million euros because we have seen the offer coming from Saudi Arabia. I looked at how much Lo Celso is worth on transfermarket.com. He's worth around 14 million euros. And if you have Lenglet, who's worth 10 million euros, let's just say, for example, in worst case scenario, we have to pay 80 million euros for Lo Celso, right? Let's just say worst case scenario, because sometimes sometimes transfer market likes to be inaccurate, but we would be paying around 8 million euros in total if we send Lenglet the other way for Lo Celso. That's a good deal because Lo Celso is at the prime of his career. He's 27 years old. And then I even looked at the salary bill between these two players and how much of a difference it is. Lo Celso at Tottenham earns around 3.6 million euros gross per season. Lenglet at Barcelona is currently earning 12 million euros a season. So if we switch these two players, we would generate 9 million euros in salary space, and that would be a huge win for Joan Laporta, Deco, and Mateo Alemán. So that is going to be my talk for today's Barcelona video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.